Hey! I saw this picture online that your 2012 San Francisco Giants will sweep the 92 Jays. How do you think about that?
It's a good question to ask, right? And this is what sports fans like, right? They like to debate, the past, the present, like those generation teams. This is what sports debate is all about, right? So
Yes.
I'm not going to say that the Giants will sweep them, but I do think they have a case. The 2012 San Francisco Giants have a case against any lineup.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders. Hi, I'm Almar. We have Armando over here, and let's talk baseball.
Before before we begin, this is a pre-recorded show. We record either Friday or Saturday nights. And if you have not subscribed yet to our channel, please click subscribe and the like button. This will help our channel. And thank you very much.
So how's your week, man?
It's good. Not as busy as the previous week with the Giants updates. So it was good.
There's a lot of updates, hey?
Yeah, it was. So it's kind of more like key. I was able to watch some spring games. So that's been fun.
Oh, what channel are you watching? I don't have that channel as I recall.
Just the Major League channel. I just have it on the background.
Hey! I saw this picture online that your 2012 San Francisco Giants will sweep the 92 Jays. How do you think about that?
It's a good question to ask, right? And this is what sports fans like, right? They like to debate, the past, the present, like those generation teams. This is what sports debate is all about, right? So
Yes.
I'm not going to say that the Giants will sweep them, but I do think they have a case. The 2012 San Francisco Giants have a case against any lineup. And I know
Yeah.
we have talked about it. I will put it against any lineup. That's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's
I
your
saw the I saw the sweep. I don't think your team will sweep the 92 Jays because they have the 1, 2, 3 batting champs there on that lineup, right? They have Alomar, Molitor, and Olerud. So, but like you mentioned when we were texting, you had what ERA you had for your starting pitchers, right? On that
Yeah, well,
playoff
let's.
run.
So, what is the question? Do you think that they were not sweeping, or the Jays will beat them? Like, what's?
Well, well, the post said that 2012 Giants will sweep the 92 Jays, but I don't think you'll sweep them. You
Okay.
might win,
Well,
but
let's look at the numbers. The statistics for the 2012 against the Detroit Tigers. In 4 games, the Giants team ERA was 1.46
that's pretty good.
with 36 strikeouts. So, and let's just look at the Giants. I mean, the Detroit Tigers batting team. We got a prime Miguel Cabrera.
Hmm.
We got a prime Prince Fielder.
Yes.
We got a Austin Jackson. We got Anibal Sanchez. Just a loaded lineup,
Hmm.
right? So, and the Giants were able to shut them down. I remember, like when before the series started, the Giants were massive underdogs.
Were they
No,
underdog against Detroit?
yep, they were massive
Oh,
underdogs. Everybody thought that this was a 5 game series for Detroit. Everybody was just picking. They didn't think they had the lineup. They didn't think the Giants can compete against this power team. And literally, the Giants pitching staff just shut them down. And let's not forget that Detroit's pitching staff was stat as well. Where we got a young and prime Matt Scherzer and Justin Verlander leading that team. That
yeah,
was a 1-2 punch.
that's
And
true.
with Justin Verlander, how many innings did he pitch? Let me see. 4 innings in game 1. And that's what Sandoval hit 3 home runs and 2 against Justin.
Oh, okay.
So that was a really, hey, I'm not saying they will sweep the 92 Jays, which they went to a game 7. Let me just remind you.
Uh,
But I do think that the 2012 Giants is able to compete against any lineup.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm hoping when they go to Game 7 that you have the lead, because you just have to remember what type of closer they had. They have Tom Henke, they had Dwayne Ward, and they have Timlin. So I'm just hoping you have the lead by 7, 8 inning, and you have a chance.
Yeah, like, that's hard because when you look at the statistics, Madison Bumgarner, Matt Cain, all went seventh innings,
Yeah.
right? So the bullpen was fresh,
Yeah.
right? So when your starters can go deep into the game and the bullpen is rest, it was a very it was a very special team looking back. We're like 12 years from the 2012 World Series, and we can see now looking back, say like, wow, that this was a special team.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing now, right? Yeah. Before your starters can go 7, 8 innings, now they get pulled in like the third inning.
Exactly, right. So
Yeah. So yeah.
that's baseball has changed a lot in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, that yeah, it's a good conversation, but I don't think the Giants will sweep the 92 Jays. But yeah, I'm not saying you can beat them, but good conversation.
yeah, it is definitely a good conversation, right? So let's go with another segment we call around the bases, and let's start with injuries. Gerrit Cole injury. He is. They're saying that he's going to be missing like 1 to 2 months.
Yeah,
But
that's
the good
huge.
news is that that was from like early start of the week, but not to the later part of the week. He's not going to need Tommy John surgery, which is great news for him and for baseball fans and the Yankees, right? So that's a good thing. But he's still going to miss some times. And what do you think about that?
Well, it's a massive blow for the New York Yankees, who's eyeing that AL East title and more, right? If you lose your ace, where do you go from there, right? They tried getting this pitcher from Chicago White Sox, but I think they weren't able to come into terms with what the Padres were looking for, is in terms of like prospects. But where do they go from here? Do they go look for Blake Snell, or they just patch it up with their own prospects, right? But this is a massive blow because you're losing the top pitcher on your rotation for the first 2 months, right? You can't go toe to toe with your AL East opponents without your top dog, right?
I think it's going to be closer to 2 months, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. Uh, but it does put a lot of pressure to the Yankees starting pitchers, which it was already in question, right? Now this puts a lot more pressure on Carlos and their new
Carlos
pitcher.
Redon?
Yeah,
Is it
Rendon.
Rendon?
Sorry, Carlos Rendon, which he's
Yeah.
not healthy so far. Like so, it puts more pressure for him to be the ace, right? So and to carry that load.
Yeah, and he didn't do good last year, so yeah,
He
it's
dealt with
pretty
injury.
hard to bank on him.
Yeah, he dealt with the injury. So and that well, since you brought it up, the one of the biggest news of this week, Padres and Chicago White Sox making a trade, sending Dylan Casey to the Padres for prospects. What is your original thoughts on this trade?
I don't know what the Padres were doing, but those are the top two prospects that they said to the White Sox, right? So are they trying to compete for well, everyone's coming in fresh, right? Every team is trying to compete for that AL West NL West title, and then more like the Yankees is competing for the AL East. So maybe they're trying to push towards that. But those are the top two prospects. And how do you pronounce his name? Dylan Cease, or is it Dylan Cease?
Dylan sees.
Okay, yeah. So he slides into like the third, like in the middle of that rotation. He was dominant last year, so don't get me wrong, he's a pretty good pitcher. But yeah, is he a difference maker for the NL West? Well, it's a wait and see, right?
Right. I actually like this trade from both sides. From the White Sox perspective, this is the fourth year under the organization, and it kind of seems like they're giving up on him. Like 2 years ago, he was dominant. He has one of the best sliders in the league, but that's his dominant pitch. He hasn't been able to build a second or third pitch, which you need in the majors. So I see the White Sox just kind of like giving up on him, which is not a bad thing, but they're able to get top prospects
Yeah.
in return, right? And it gives now Dylan a fresh start, and maybe the Padres can help him come up with a third option. Maybe build the changeup or curveball, whatever it might be. So at this point, he's not really a two-pitch thrower. He just throws the slider constantly. But I like it from the Padres. I think Dylan is a great pitcher. It's like 2 years ago, he was very dominant. And now the National League West is more competitive now.
That's good.
And arguably, it might be the toughest division at this point. On paper, with this move, it just brings the Padres like, okay, everybody's going to be fighting for those wild card spots now.
That's true.
And now you have Arizona, and the Giants and the Padres trying to compete all against the Dodgers. And I like this move for both sides.
Yeah, got to be a dogfight there in NL West.
Exactly. So,
And we
so
don't have and we don't have to wait long. Dylan CC might be pitching in that Korea series, eh?
No, he didn't make the trip. He didn't make the trip.
He didn't make the trip?
No, the plane already. He got traded when they were already en route.
Well, I thought I saw a picture this morning that CC is in Korea. So maybe
No, he
maybe
didn't
I was
make it,
just
so.
maybe I was still asleep.
See, no, they left to Korea on Wednesday when the trade happened, and he was actually in Atlanta. Dylan was already in Atlanta, like he was home. He was not even in Florida. He must have been known that he was being
He
traded.
was gonna get traded. Yeah.
Let's move on with the latest Blake Snell update.
Hey, it's a never
This
ending.
week, a new team has come up. The Houston Astros are reportedly interested in Blake Snell's.
Well, they're
What are
always
you hearing
interested
this-
in everyone, right?
I think last week we talked about it. I think every fan page that I look, every beat reporter, everybody's saying that their team is interested in Blake Snell, right? So I think that's but like injuries are starting to happen. Houston has some injuries now in pitching, so everybody can make their case on why their team needs a Blake Snell. So from this week, I'm still hearing the Giants and the Angels are the top two contenders. From what his agent is saying. But this is it's just a weird situation. He's coming off a Cy Young award.
Yeah.
Yes, he's 30 years old, but he's coming off a Cy Young award, and it's weird that he doesn't have a team yet.
Yeah.
2 weeks away from baseball starting.
If he doesn't sign this week, then I don't know how good the regimen is for him. I know I read that he was throwing side bullpens on the side there, so maybe he'll be ready by opening day, but it's hard, right?
He's getting older in age, but I heard that he's open to a 3 to 5 year contract with the option to opt out every year, but $30 million a year. That's what he's looking. Yeah. It makes no sense for organizations to sign him up for that long. 30 years a year. Well, if he's pitching bad or he gets hurt, or Father Time gets to him, well, he has no reason to opt out because he's making $30 million a year.
That's true.
Right? So, like, for teams, like, everybody's asking, like, why is no one signing up? Like, well, no one wants to give him $30 million if he's gonna pitching bad or gets injured or whatever. So like there has to be kind of like a sweet spot of maybe $15 million a year for the first year, and then like if he pitches great, he can opt out and get the money. He can try the free market again, right? So
I think he'll be close to. I believe it'll be close to maybe like 27 million. But yeah, 30 million is too much. Like you said, if he gets hurt, then he'll just opts into the another year and
Exactly.
then
Right? So,
just binds the team that signs him, right?
right. So I'm hearing he's open to 1 year, 30 million, but that's still it's very rich for
Yeah.
a player his age. Yeah, like and then ultimately like you can stack up teams all you want. And that's like why is the big market teams not signing up or jumping? It's like that doesn't guarantee that it's gonna work, right? Like the Mets did it last year. They loaded up with talent and they were sellers at the
Yeah.
at the break, right? And also the Padres loaded up last year and they were dumping up this year,
Yeah.
right? So it's no guarantee that you're gonna win just because you load up.
Yeah, it just the Rangers just got locked out with DeGrom when he got injured, right? He
Exactly.
signed that massive deal, but he got injured, but they still won the World Series, so that's just a one off right there, right?
And like let's we are like I mentioned we are under 2 weeks away from the regular season, but we actually the first series starts next week, which is very excited. We get to see real baseball now, and it actually started in Korea. The Seoul series against the Dodgers and Padres. This is the Padres, and this is actually we have a very good lineup already, and actually it's already making me mad because it's the Dodgers.
Why?
So
just seeing the Dodgers lineup, you gets you
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what
gets
I
you
was like.
going. It gets you going.
It's like, look at this. The Dodgers announced on Monday the right-hander Tyler Gausman will start against Darvis.
You're
That is
the
crazy that the Dodgers, their opening day start is Tyler Gausman.
Glass no.
Glass,
Holy, yeah, holy, eh?
right? So it's like, in the second game, it's actually we're gonna see a new Dodger right-hander. Yosu, how do you pronounce his name?
Oh, the Japanese guy.
Japanese guy, yeah. So we'll start against Joe Musgrove. Those are the two games, like the starting lineups.
They're going heavy. Both teams say they're
They're
going
going
heavy. Eh?
heavy, right? That's what I was,
Yeah,
they're going heavy, like, and that's like this is baseball now. Like this is the
yeah,
start of the season. Right? So like, wow, and like I saw those starters, like wow, that's this is like a all star appearance almost. Like,
yeah.
but anyways,
Well,
games both games starts at 3:05 Pacific time, Wednesday and Thursday of next week, and that's the opening series for baseball. And actually, from I think starting Sunday, they're actually doing exhibition games against Korea teams.
oh,
Both,
that's actually nice.
so actually, it's pretty exciting to see that, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully their both pitchers get stacks, right? And then when they face your Giants, they'll be like, yeah, they're tired.
Well, actually, the second series against second series in the season, the Giants face the Padres.
Okay, that'll be good.
Yeah, so it's like we're starting hard. We're
Yeah. Yeah, I like this international games for baseball. It gives every fans the chance to like see the players play, right?
correct, and it's just like baseball's here now, right? So
Yeah,
baseball is just here, and so that's exciting to see. Right, that's all around the bases.
that's great. Yeah, those are pretty good news. Well, not good news for those pitchers that are hurt, but good for baseball. We're almost
Yep,
there.
perfect. Now let's go with for your Blue Jays
Well,
update.
well, for the Blue Jays update, like last week, nothing has changed. Alek Manoah is still on the mend there, and so is Kevin Gausman. For Manoah, they're saying his shoulder is still cranky, whatever that means, and they're saying he's progressing with his right shoulder soreness. But that's a big blow because he's trying to get that fifth starter, like the on the rotation. As per Kevin Gausman, he is right shoulder fatigue. Like I said, the last episode that we had, Gausman is unlikely to be ready for opening day. This blows the starting rotation right now because he's slated to be the opening day starter. When the spring training started, with Gausman and Manoah likely out to start the season, the Blue Jays starting rotation for the opening day will be Bassett, Barrios, Kikuchi, and probably Mitch White and Bowden Francis. So, like I said, Blue Jays' fifth starter is taking into shape. Bowden Francis is looking like a lock for that fifth starter.
Right.
Francis last year was mainly used as a reliever who had like 1.73 ERA. It would be a matter of stretching him out as a starter, right? That's a big thing with this pitcher coming off of a relief pitching from the previous year. So in Francis last spring start, he was throwing around 94 miles per hour to 95 miles per hour. You like to see that, but the Jays will probably like to see him get stretched out towards the opening day. So we'll see, but it's taking into shape. So it's good that we have deep rotation, deep pitching rotation, but it sucks that Manoa and Gausman are still down for with injury.
For the next 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, the Gausman one is a bigger one because he won't be able to start the opening day, so he won't be ready, like the Jays said. So we're hoping to see him probably in the next few weeks here. Hopefully, it's not a long time injury, right?
Yeah, hopefully, right? So
Hmm.
it's better to miss a couple weeks in the beginning, but you definitely need the whole healthy roster at the end of the season, right?
Yeah,
For the Giants update, the Giants received some really good news this week. Alex Cobb has been throwing live BP. He's a month ahead of schedule. He
that's
was not
good.
supposed to be throwing like 2 months, like end of May, beginning of June. They were expecting for him to start throwing, at least throwing the ball.
Yeah,
Well, he feels a lot better. He early in the week he threw 35 balls at live BP. He felt a little fatigued after 35 balls, but but there was no setbacks or anything. So like that's just really good. Now
yeah,
instead of him coming after the All Star break, now he's expected maybe to hopefully he can be there end of May or beginning of June now. So that's really helps the starter rotation, right? So
yes,
that's really good news, especially for an older player, right? So,
that's
but
true.
like that's really good because he had surgery in October, and to from 7 months later he is throwing. So that's really good. Um, like I said earlier, that there was not a lot of big moves or just your typical cup moves or cuts from the roster. So the Giants this week they made 17 roster moves, sending players down to the minor league system, and some of the notables are Eric Miller and left-hander Carson Weisenhunt, which they've been having a really good spring. Giants were excited. Maybe they can make the open day roster, but like they've been sent down to AAA, which that's not a bad thing. If you're
Yeah,
being sent down to AAA, that means they at one point you're gonna be called up, right? So like they're
yes,
not being called to single or double A, right? So that's at one point we're gonna see those young pitchers come back up. But I think one of the biggest headlines is actually Elliot Ramos. Elliot Ramos has been in our organization for like 6 years now. He's at one point he was the top prospect across the whole major league, but he just seems for whatever reason he just can't make the roster. He's been called up a lot in the
uh,
last 3 years, but he still struggles with major league pitching stuff. He he's really good at fastball hitter, but he struggles with breaking balls.
but that's always the problem with prospects, right? The breaking pitches, right?
So, but like like he's still like the Giants don't want to give up on him, and also Elliot Ramos does not want to give up as well, right? So it's kind of like But I think that's the biggest thing. Like 6 years ago, he was the top prospect, but there's still work to be done. So,
Okay.
but he's getting out there in age now. He's like 28 years old,
Oh, okay.
right? So he's getting up there, right? So, and let's talk about. Well, let's start with as we last week we talked about JD Davis with the Chapman signing. JD Davis was the man out in the
Oh,
rotation.
okay.
Right? He was expected. Everybody thought he was going to be traded in some package deal. That didn't happen. He actually got released. No one
Yeah.
claimed him, which is really sad to see that happen. He actually had a better year offensively than Chapman, but like everybody like so close to the roster, everybody has they have like an idea of their rosters, right? So it
Yeah.
makes sense, but it's just sad to see a good player not have no one with no team calling at his door unless someone gets injured, right?
Yeah.
So,
Did
but
they
with
even try? Did the Giants even try to trade him before releasing him, or did you did?
there was talks about it, but I don't think they were able to get any call ups. But I think I think everybody just knew, other teams knew that the Giants had no other options, right? So it's kind
Oh, okay.
of,
Yeah.
we know that you're desperate. We know that Chapman's there, and so it's kind of like, well, like why? It's like you're out of options, so it's like the best thing is just to
Yeah.
release them, right?
So
So
yeah. So pretty much all the teams were just waiting for the Giants to just release him, right?
exactly. So,
Yeah.
but this release and actually does free up 6.8 million on cap. So that's
That's
really
good.
good. And everybody throws it like, well, if the Giants can't able to get Blake Snell, it's like it could help the cost to getting him, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. So, and like last week, we talked about the mess of the infield with the Chapman signing and the drama with Brandon Crawford and Giants signing Nick Ashmed, competing against Marco Luciano's, the top prospects. Well, anyways, they haven't announced it yet, but it looks like Nick is going to be the starter
Oh, okay.
for the shortstop. They haven't announced it, but at this point, he's batting 500 at spring training. Luciano is struggling defensively and offensively. And so, like, they haven't announced, but it just kind of seems like if the Giants want to compete in the West, or just if they want to win now, why not sign the veteran and
Yeah.
be
Put
right?
yeah. Put the best starting lineup right there, right?
Exactly, right. So, and maybe he just needs some time in Double A or Triple A to get his confidence back, right? So,
Yeah.
for Marco Luciano. But now with Davis being out, it frees up more of a roster move. With all this coming together now, it gives more clarity on the infield, right? So now it looks, with Davis being out, Chapman being a third, Estrada being a second. Now Flores becomes kind of like the utility player.
Utility player. Yeah.
Utility player for the infield, right? So he's a veteran, he's a good offensive bat. But now Casey Smith, he's the top prospect along with Lisiano, he might also be sent down,
Oh, okay.
right? So like, which it makes sense. Like those are young players, but they need just more confidence, right? They need to
Yeah.
catch up. They're really great fastball hitters, but they need to catch up with breaking balls at the majors, right? So right now it looks like Fitzgerald and Casey Smith are fighting for the edge spot for the
Okay.
infield, right? So, but Fitzgerald has been having. He will be a rookie if he makes the roster. He's a top prospect, but he's fighting it with Casey Smith, which Casey Smith had up and downs last season, but he's definitely excited. So
Okay.
that's the
That's good.
Giants infield update.
That's great.
Well, thank you again for watching another episode of Saturday Sliders. See you next week.
See you next week.